Indiana Fever preseason has officially come, and it has officially gone.
The Indiana Fever did finish the WNBA preseason on.
Caitlin Clark is shooting from distances that aren't even permitted on a basketball floor, and Lexi Hull is becoming the Fever's unofficial fourth-quarter weapon. In plain terms, one insider stated, "I believe Caitlin Clark may have even expanded her range. She is treating the profound ones as though they don't exist."
Indiana Fever close out the preseason 3-0, victory against the Mystics, victory against the Brazilian national team, and another victory this afternoon against the Atlanta Dream.
The Fever achieved a perfect 3-win, 0-loss sweep in their final preseason game, but it wasn't without controversy. A concerning injury to a vital player and unexpected remarks made by their Atlanta Dream opponents, from breathtaking performances to surprising results. Here's the whole tale. Atlanta's flawless preseason finale for Indiana. I've got the Fever down below. So let's go if you're eager for the season to begin.
When I watch the Fever, even when they're not at their best, one thing I can't help but think is that they're just going to run teams off the floor and destroy them with their firepower. They just have so many players that can beat you and can score. And, Dewana Bonner didn't even start this game. Sophie Cunningham started in her place.
Fans were glued to their phones, checking social media feeds for updates as they learned that Caitlin Clark nearly missed the Fever's final preseason game against the Atlanta Dream less than 24 hours before tip-off. Everyone was surprised by the news. During the team's last practice, Clark had struck the same strained leg after colliding with a practicing player.
They're just doing a drill, and if you're looking what happens here. Caitlin Clark pulls up. Caitlin Clark pulls up immediately. And a lot of people are saying that it's not.
Imagine this moment. The Fever's flawless preseason record was on the line, and the medical staff was scrambling to assess their star rookie. Their star player was now sitting on the sidelines with an ice pack after 2 victories and 0 losses. Supporters began to question whether this was a portent of things to come. If the team's medical staff was already feeling the effects of professional basketball, they labored through their evaluations while social media was ablaze with rumors. With every minute that went by, the questions grew. Would Clark lose her last preseason opportunity? Would this affect her availability for the regular season opener?
Coach just mentioned you've been limited in practice this week. Just how are you kind of working back from that leg injury?
Yeah, I think taking my time. I feel really good, honestly, and excited to get out there and play again tomorrow, work on things that we need to work on. And yeah, Maria's been great. Our medical staff has been really helpful. But I feel really good, honestly.
Then the news broke, which caused the Fever fan base to feel a surge of relief. Clark was allowed to play, but instead of just joining in, she would initiate the game. The injury fear abruptly stopped being a headline and instead became a footnote.
There's no reason to overdo anything right now. It's been the beginning of the season. Still don't play here for another week, but the last 2 days have been really, really good for myself.
You know where it started? What caused it to get her?
I don't. Probably just a little too much basketball. I think, I love being in the gym, but I think understanding when to be in the gym and, when to recover and things like that. So I think just finding a balance and obviously just getting back into the swing of things. But yeah, it was nothing major or anything like that.
It was evident in the first few minutes that Clark wasn't holding anything back. She fired long-range rounds that gave the impression that the defenders were entirely defenseless. Robin Lundberg, a WNBA analyst for Sports Illustrated, saw even more amazing writing on X. Caitlin Clark may have even broadened her scope, in my opinion. She is aiming at the deep ones as if they were.
Irons it. So second attempt, same spot, same result for Maya Caldwell. That's Caitlin Clark, top of the key, and drains her first triple of the...
Nothing Garnett. Maya Caldwell's second try, same location, same outcome occurred when Caitlin Clark drained her first three-pointer from close to the logo, reminding spectators of her famous three-pointer from a week ago at Iowa. All the Atlanta defenders could do was watch as the ball soared into the air and fell through the net with precision. This was Caitlin Clark proclaiming her entrance, not merely a player experimenting with professional basketball. Clark overcame the pre-game injury worries to deliver an outstanding stat line at the end of the game. Just 23 minutes of play yielded 13 points, 7 assists and 6 rebounds.
Of Natasha Howard gets the bucket. Step back triple. Kelsey Mitchell to the rim. Well, that's Caitlin Clark, top of the key, and drains her triple.
When the final buzzer sounded after the Fever defeated Atlanta 81-76, they had achieved a remarkable 3-win, 0-loss record. Sweep of the preseason. After a brief period of worry, hopes for what this club could accomplish when the games actually start to matter increased. An unexpected Indiana hero, who wasn't Caitlin Clark, appeared while the game was close going into the fourth quarter. The focus switched to Lexi Hull, who had been subtly improving and modifying her game over the preseason. From the bench to her new position, recall that Hull began the season's penultimate stretch last year and developed into a dependable offensive and defensive weapon during that time, even emerging as the league's most prolific three-point shooter.
And now BG says she's rediscovered her love for the game, saying Atlanta reminds me of home. I'm back in the South, and this was the best decision of my life.
She is completely fine, just needing rest, so we will not see her for the rest of this ball game.
Yeah, we can't give out all our weapons.
Turnover as Matt Caldwell got a little too deep.
Hull has graciously begun coming off the bench this season due to the new All-Star free agent additions, but during this game, she had a different quality that attracted everyone's attention. She wasn't the same player we had previously seen. Instead, she was someone who was prepared to take.
I think more than anything, just being able to practice with our team. We're getting a lot of good reps in practice, and I think, confidence comes from that. Confidence comes from getting the reps, the game-like reps, over and over again in practice. And, our team's super competitive. So every single day that we've had of training camp so far has felt pretty much game-like. Like, we're all taking it very serious, and it starts in practice.
The Fever suffered their first preseason defeat as the Atlanta Dream continued to press and threaten at every possession. The arena was becoming more tense. When Hull realized that Indiana's flawless record would not last, she decided to take matters into her own hands. Whenever Indiana needed to score, Hull was incredibly effective. She pulled up for mid-range jumpers with defenders in her face, as if they weren't there, finding pathways through what appeared to be non-existent defenders. She split 2 Dream defenders in one particularly spectacular play before completing with a seamless layup at the rim.
Just like, shoot that thing when you open.
Lexi Hull getting downhill, finds the bucket and one, as this will be the largest lead for Indiana.
Her influence extended beyond her ability to score goals. Atlanta's offense suffered greatly as a result of Hull's fierce defense, which resulted in mistakes and fast break opportunities. Her understanding of the floor placed teammates in advantageous situations for simple buckets. Hull's resolute play down the stretch was simply unanswerable in the Dream. Following the game, Coach Stephanie White shared details regarding Hull's growth that clarified everything we had just seen. When you accept your role as Lexi, you can't allow it to put you in a box, right? White emphasized how Hull had accepted her responsibilities while still improving her game, which Lexi was playing.
Lexi's playing with such a high level of confidence. You saw that the second half of last season, her starting to grow into that. I think you saw it a lot in Unrivaled as well. It unlocked, I think, a little bit of creativity. I think sometimes when you're a young player in this league, when you accept your role as Lexi does, you can't allow it to put you in a box, right? Like, your role can change throughout the course of a season. Your role can change throughout the course of career.
White cited Hull's increased inventiveness and the team's growing confidence in her judgment. She has done a fantastic job positioning herself for it, and the coach is obviously happy with Hull's development. Hull attributed her heroics in the fourth quarter to the tough practice setting. Performing the game-like exercises repeatedly throughout practice builds confidence. She described what happened to her. Her one-on-one play and defensive abilities have also improved as a result of winning a championship in the best 3-on-3 league.
It's going to be an exciting season. I think more than anything, we're a deep team, and I think everyone's really bought into trusting the process. This season, it might not start off super pretty, but we know that putting in the work, putting in, trust into the coaching staff, trusting each other, that by the end of the season we'll be exactly where we want to be. So just excited, with the progress we've made even over just 3 games.
We'll be exactly where we want to be at the end of the season. I'm thrilled with the improvement we've made, even in just 3 games. Hull had changed from a role player to a game changer by the final buzzer, scoring 11 of her 14 points in the pivotal 4th quarter to seal the victory. The official statistics demonstrate how Hull's effective scoring under duress helped the Fever win the game when they needed it most. Her performance was so outstanding that it might alter the Fever's rotation as a whole going into the regular season.
Lexi does. You can't allow it to put you in a box, right? Your role can change throughout the course of a season. Your role can change throughout the course of career. So you want to be able to stretch and expand. And I think Lexi's done a really good job of putting herself in position for that. Running actions for her. Allowing her to decision make. Hell, I think in the Washington game we had her playing some point. So it's a tribute to the work that she's put in, the confidence that she's built with her discipline and work ethic in the off season. And you trust her on the floor. You trust her to make the right play and make the right read.
The Fever appeared to be far more serious than many had anticipated when Hull emerged as a dependable clutch performer off the bench. Hull might have gone from being a crucial player to an exclamation point in Indiana's attempt to make an impression in the upcoming season in the span of 1 game. There were several uncomfortable moments in the game, such as one that revealed a side of Caitlin Clark that supporters always hope not to witness. Clark became the focus of attention halfway through the 2nd quarter for something other than her incredible shooting. She received a technical foul, demonstrating her true level of competition.
Make it 12-3 run as they are now just down 1 point.
Imagine this. After the Dream intercepts Clark's effort at a bounce pass, Atlanta's Brianna Jones makes a quick fast break layup. After Jones scored, Clark's ire erupted instantly, and she threw the ball against the hoop because she obviously believed there should have been a foul call on the play. Without hesitation, the referee. Clark received a technical foul on her first preseason play. The subsequent events reveal a great deal about the chemistry that is already developing on this Fever team. Sophie Cunningham, who is renowned for her fierce rivalry, immediately intervened as the voice of reason. Cunningham dragged her away from the scene while Clark and the officials were still fighting so that things wouldn't get worse. She acted as the Star's veteran bodyguard, preventing her from talking herself into a more heated argument with the referees.
Cunningham actually stepped on somebody's foot and turned her ankle and had to leave the game.
This is when the exciting part begins. Later, after serving as Clark Cunningham's peacekeeper, she had to deal with her own difficulties. Cunningham attempted to grab a rebound in the 3rd quarter, but landed awkwardly on Rain Howard's foot. As soon as she came down, you saw there was a problem. Cunningham plainly felt agony as he collapsed to the court and then hopped to the Fever's bench. She was listed as unlikely to return when the ailment was later determined to be a right ankle problem.
Hopefully the Fever are fully healthy going into that game. Hopefully Sophie Cunningham is good to go in that game. I know she was seen in a walking boot afterwards, but that's typical. It clearly wasn't a serious injury, but it doesn't mean it's going to be healthy a week from today either.
Fans of Fever held their breath. In her post-game remarks, Coach Stephanie White offered some solace by revealing that Cunningham herself stated, "I'll be fine." Would this injury affect the team's intentions for the regular season? Cunningham was immediately stepping into a cold tub following the game, according to White, indicating that the team was moving quickly toward recuperation. There is still some concern leading up to the season opener because no testing has been done on the ankle yet.
I don't think so. She was in there getting in a cold tub, so she keeps saying I'll be fine, so I trust her.
Not in my opinion. She was in there taking a cold tub, so I believe her when she says I'll be all right.
We did a better job of taking care of the ball in the second half. I was disappointed that we had 10 first half turnovers. A lot of them were trying to force things that just weren't there. I didn't feel like we were patient enough to get into our offense. So we did a better job of taking care of the ball. I always love when we have a high assist to made field goal ratio. I think we're going to find a lot of success when that happens for us. Quality depth, they came in and made impact, no doubt. And being able to, hold the team to 34% from the field. All points of emphasis for us. And even though it's not always that pretty. It's progress, and that's what we need.
This preseason demonstrated why Indiana's future appears more promising than it has in years, even though no one is yet organizing a championship parade. It is obvious that the groundwork is in place for something extraordinary to occur, possibly sooner than anyone had thought. Something unique is developing in Indiana, as revealed by this flawless preseason sweep. Perhaps it is too soon to discuss a dynasty, but the elements are in place. Hull and Che's growing confidence and Clark's star power mystery, which typically takes years to develop the Fever, will have more than just momentum when they play the Chicago Sky on May 17th at Gainbridge Fieldhouse on ABC. Together, they overcame hardship, technical fouls, injury scares, difficult situations, and surviving. Whether this particular team will make an impact in 2025 is not the true question. How loud that cacophony will be is the question. I've got the Fever down below if you're eager for the season to begin. To ensure that you never miss anything, like, subscribe, and enable all notifications. We'll see you in the next one after you click the video on the screen.